When I think about my favorite teams, my favorite teachers, my favorite classes, those are all the classes and teams that I've been a part of in which I felt not only important, but I felt I belonged to them. We even choose our friends based on how significant we feel in that group that we belong to. So for our students, I think it's easy to just try to understand that that's all they want, and with that can come to success in our classrooms.
I loved the positive discipline training. I loved how it made me get on the kids' level and really understand where the kids come from in certain situations, especially as a disciplinarian. A lot of times as a teacher, we just think the kids are disrespecting us, but we really don't understand the inside part of what's happening with them. And the positive discipline training really made me understand the kids and that I need to have a connection before you do correction.
I attended the early childhood positive discipline workshop, and for me, the most useful point was changing my perspective, so acting as the student instead of the teacher. And then also reversing the role and acting again as the teacher towards a student, using the methods taught by the positive discipline workshop facilitator. So for me, that perspective really opened up a new view for me when I came back to my classroom, and I found it very useful and very practical in my room.
I think what's cool about positive discipline is it really considers all of the stakeholders involved in raising healthy children, and specifically I was interested in the parenting side, and I think they do a great job of bringing parents in, helping train parents. On a positive note, our parents have been very receptive. It's been great to give them the tools and work together using the same language in the classroom and the home, and I think that's really heading in the right direction. And from a teacher's standpoint, it's really great to see some of the responsibility put onto the parents.
Yeah, positive discipline. So it's the relationship building. Without relationship with the students, we cannot correct them. So the basic foundation is that we have to connect with them before we correct. And then, from my experience, ever since I took that workshop last year, it really matters. Whenever you start to connect, they will just give it to you. You know what I mean? They will believe you. They will feel they're genuine. They will feel that you really want to correct them for their good, and things will be fine with them.
So I'm very excited that our school is starting this initiative with positive discipline. As an educator myself, I was more on the firm side, and I spent many years with students being scared to even take my class. I've had students come into my class with tears, just knowing that my name was on their schedule. Getting that shift in my head that it's more about relationships, and I spent the last maybe 2 or 3 years as a teacher building those relationships and noticing how much of a difference it made in my classes.
Something that I have learned from the positive discipline thing, that it's we're always complaining about kids being loud. Actually, they are loud because they need us to listen to them. If they just feel that we really listen to them, I think they're gonna be less loud, I mean.
I think one of the most important points that I continue to believe is that we really need to change the culture of the entire school, or the ethos of the school. And that's not something that you can do overnight, and that's not something that you can't even change a student overnight. But I think it starts with building a common language and building a common idea that we're all here to help students by being in a positive relationship with them, in a way that we can really influence them. I believe that programs don't necessarily change students' behavior or our character, but relationships can, if you have that special relationship with a student. So it's more about going through the process of discipline with a student rather than doing it to them, for them.
Most importantly, what I learned was to put yourself into the shoes of the child or your student, because a lot of the time students typically hear, "No, stop, don't do that," or just continuous reprimands all day long. And you should put yourself into the child's shoes and think, would I want to hear that all day long? By the end of the day, all you've heard is don't do that, stop, or reprimands.
To me, positive discipline is not so much about discipline as the title suggests. Rather, it's about setting up your classroom in a way that you have to discipline less. For example, we have the Hours of Recovery, classroom jobs for every student every day, classroom agreements, and a Bug and a Wish. Bug and a Wish is a strategy that has tools to help students regulate their emotions and solve problems on their own. So you say, it bugs me when somebody pushes me. I wish you would keep your hands to yourself.
Something that's really important for me when we think about solutions-focused discipline is this idea behind kind and firm. That while we are going to be kind and we're going to make sure we're approaching everything with a positive attitude, but that we remember that there's a lot of importance around the idea of being firm, that we have real policies that we believe in, that we stand by, and that we hold our students accountable to. So that firmness is really important, but firm also goes hand in hand with being kind and developing that mutual respect, that students are going to feel that their teacher, that their leader cares about them and wants what's best for them. And so that kindness is really important, but that firmness that students actually really need in order to be successful also has to be present. So having those two married together is one of the biggest steps forward that we can take as a school, as we write policy, as we interact with our kids, and as we become a more solutions-focused school.
One of the things that's really resonated with me in making this mindset shift is developing a greater sense of belonging and significance with our students. Yes, showing them that they are valued in their place here and that we really care for them and that we want to connect with them, but also instilling in them a sense that they have a real responsibility to contribute. These things are great when things are going well, but it's important that I think we remember that we also need to give them a sense of both belonging and significance when things aren't going well, and really involving them in the problem-solving process, that we give them a voice and empower them to generate solutions with us that are going to help them genuinely grow and learn from their mistakes.
For me, one of the most important things for us to focus on at AIS is a strong learning culture, a culture where our kids prioritize learning. And to do that, I think we need a foundation of respect and responsibility. From what I've seen, positive discipline is an amazing resource for us all to be on the same page and build consistency around strategies that help us build respect and responsibility in our students.